All right. The USMNT has beaten Bosnia 2-0. And we got my good friend Adam, Stan USMNT, coming to us live from Greece. Adam, listen, man, there's a lot of emotions running to this game. I'm happy. I'm a little angry, and I'm a little bit confused. I'm feeling everything right now. What's your initial thoughts after that game, man?
I thought we were cooked with about 30 minutes left. I mean, it's really hard to get a red card in a World Cup knockout game. I don't care which opponent you're playing, right? Like, luckily it wasn't a Belgium, right? Like you're done if a team has serious attacking talent. So luckily it was Bosnia, and they don't have a ton of bite to them. But yeah, I thought we were done, man. I thought like they'd go get one. I thought it would go extra time. And then I just, at that point, it's like you're hanging on for dear life, which we kind of were, right, for the first 10 minutes. And then we actually like found a way to go attack. And funny enough, I felt like we had maybe even the better opportunities. They had a couple late shots that kind of snuck wide. But other than that, like, Will, did they get like a touch in the box, like a legit touch in the box? Like, I know they probably did, but it just felt like they didn't even get a touch in the box all game. Like, and credit to our defense. Like, that's a team that, I'm sure, normal American fans are like, nah, Bosnia, small country, like trash. But like, they beat really good teams in that exact same kind of game, including Italy, right? They're the reason Italy is in the World Cup for a third straight time. So, credit to us, man. I don't know what to feel right now, though. I'm like still angry. I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm worried about next game with the Ballo thing and like how that impacts us, because he's been such a big part of like the resurgence of our attack in the last 9 months. And then I'm also like elated, right? Because you just won a round of 32 game. It also was like weird to play a round of 32 game, like where it was like, we should win this. Like, like I legitimately, and now there's never been such thing as a round of 32. It's always been round of 16, but like it's weird to play a knockout game, because I guess that's what that was. I'm still kind of trying to get my brain around that as well. Like it is a knockout win, but in my brain, I'm also like, but we're just back to where we always have been, So it's cool. It's good. You always want to win a win or go home game, and it's exciting. And it is the first one since 2002, but it's a new format, and we all just need to recognize like we are where we should be now, right? Like this isn't uncharted waters for the USMNT. This is 7 times we've been to the round of 16 in the last 10 World Cups, Will, right? This isn't some like, oh my God, this is a miracle. No. We should be here, guys, right? Now, the job starts now, like, because we haven't gone past this point more than one time. 2002 is the only time since 1930 we've gone past this point. So now it gets real.
No, I agree 100%. Real quick before we go on, guys, make sure you hit the like button down below if you haven't already. You got my good friend Adam on here to break down this game. Also, don't forget we're presented by FanDuel, our proud sponsor of the show. And don't also forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Adam, the first 30 minutes of the game made me very nervous, man. We looked very out of sorts. We kind of looked a little, I don't want to say nervous, but kind of just we just looked a little bit stale and kind of not sharp, right? Then after about 30, 35 minutes, things really started to pick up. And I think the last 10 to 15 minutes of this first half, it kind of became our game. And that's when we started to see like the normal team we're accustomed to seeing. But I think maybe the reason why that we did look so shaky is because I do think that some of these guys realize that this is it. If you lose, you go home. There's no other way about it. So there's a lot at stake at this game, compared to the group stage where, you can afford to lose a game and still advance. But once we settled in, we started looking more like ourselves. I thought the team played pretty well in the first half. Pretty much everyone did. The person who didn't really stand out to me, the player that I wouldn't say disappointed. That's not the right word, but a guy that I think was very unnoticeable in the first half. And I'm wondering if you think this as well. I thought Serginho Dest was probably the most unnoticeable guy in the first half for me. Not to say he was bad. I just think he wasn't very effective in the first half. He was the guy probably for me of all the starting 11, but I feel like most people, Tillman looked a little shaky at first too. He had a couple bad passes behind McKinney and Pulisic, but it's so funny because Tillman started to settle in and he ended up being, for me, the man of the match. I thought he was the best player for us tonight. But I thought that, the first half, Des was the one guy that stood out to me that didn't play. One thing I did notice too, regardless if they had any shots in the box, I thought this is the first game Matt Freese has really been tested the most. Any game he's played,
Yep.
he really been tested. Now, he passed the test for the most part, but there were a couple times where they really caught him off guard, like the Olympico they attempted off the corner. That could have been bad. That could have been very, very bad. But was there anybody that stood out to you who maybe you weren't impressed with in the first half?
Yeah, I'll give you a couple thoughts on my on the first half, and then I'll talk about players a little bit. So I think that you're right. I think you're spot on. I think you hit the nail on the head. I haven't really thought it through deeply yet, but I think it makes a lot of sense to me that there were probably nerves early, right? And I was, just analyzing the performance, and I was like, man, like this is tough. Like, I think I tweeted about 30 minutes in, like the return of Berhalter ball. Like it was like slow ball movement. It was none of the like middle exchanges between the midfielders or the wingers stepping back into space and the midfielders overload. We've seen all this like just cool movement based stuff to create runs in the channels and to get the ball into dangerous spaces. That we've seen that really develop under Poch, right? Since we went 3 in the back, really. And there was none of that. It was like dead. It literally felt the way that I felt when we would get low blocked with Berhalter, where it'll be like, we won the possession battle 65%. It's like you went center back to out to back to the center back, and it was just like that. It was like trim edges, no ball movement, spam crosses, kind of hopeful ball, right? And I was really worried because I was like, oh my God. I do think I have to give credit to Bosnia. And it was so, TAC calls it soccer terrorism, and it is, right? And like it is soccer terrorism, and we're going to probably need to be soccer terrorists if we go deep enough in this thing at some point, or at least hopefully not that big of a terrorist. Like they weren't even trying to play soccer, Will. Like, it was crazy. They would like get the ball and like they were treating us like we were France. I'm like, we're not France, guys. Like, Jesus, you can't even like try to make a pass. Like, it was wild. So I think we saw like the absolute deepest bunker we've ever seen, right? So I think that probably was a part of it as well, where it was like, whoa, they like their 2 lines of 4 were 5 yards apart at times. It was like insanity. I was like, I don't even know how to break this down. I'm sure our guys didn't either. So it was good that like, there were a couple moments, including Ballow's first goal, which got called back, which were kind of moments where we had some space, and you have to act quickly as soon as you get space because they're coming back. All 11 guys are coming back, So I think that probably accounted for it. A little bit of them being probably the deepest bunker we've seen, and our guys probably being a little bit nervous, not moving quick enough, probably forgetting some of the tactical stuff. That happens, right? When you get under pressure, you forget some of the new habits you've developed, some of the new tactics that you're trying to, implement. But I thought late in the half, I agree. I thought we started to, not just the goal, but I thought we found a number of moments, including Ballow's near third goal. He could have had a hat trick in the first half. He was like pretty damn close to having a hat trick. So, so we grew into the game. I thought I agree. I think Des was a little invisible. I do think the right side of our offense, I'd have to go back and rewatch, but I thought the right side of the attack was bright, right? And kind of led to those goals. So I don't remember in particular if Serge had like good passes that led into, any of the 3 goals, right? I know one Ballo missed and one was offside, but all 3 of those were great actions down the right side. And I can't remember if he was involved heavily in them. So, but anyway, bright on the right. And Serge usually is involved when we are bright. It's not always the flashiest play, but it's like, simple build up or a 1-touch pass or, just something kind of slick that like springs stuff. So I'd have to go back and rewatch, but I agree. He was pretty quiet. The other player to me that was pretty quiet in terms of, especially in the attack, was Jedi. I just didn't I thought defensively he was sound and solid, which was great. It's kind of more what we needed out of him tonight, especially after the red, but he didn't really bring that much in the attack from what I remember, and honestly, I just thought our left side was a little disjointed. I didn't think Pulisic was in the game in the same way he's been in a lot of games recently, right? I just don't think he had the kind of moments. Like, he was fine. He wasn't a disaster or anything, but we just weren't creating a ton up the left until in the second half, we actually kind of shifted Tillman, I believe, more to the left, or at least Tillman got involved more on the left in the midfield, his midfield pairing with Adams. And then that opened up some things. But yeah.
I agree. I think Jedi did have an underwhelming game. I will say this too, talking about, I guess we can kind of move on to the second half too. I was very impressed in the back line with Ream and Freeman. I don't think Richards was bad. I think he was good, but I think Ream and Freeman were my two center backs I thought were very good this game. Man, Freeman had some beautiful passes tonight too. He had a beautiful ball to McKinney down the flank, just like a beautiful through ball. Or no, he did over the top, but his vision. I have never seen a United States player improve so much in a year. I've never seen it. Like the difference between the Gold Cup last year when we were talking to now, night and day. I think just absolute night and day. So going to the second half, we did score. I have to mention Balogun did score in added time right before the half. So we go in with the 1-0 lead, which made me feel better, man, because you and I both know that when you're playing 0-0 ball, it's very dangerous. Anything can happen. They could pull one back and you're playing catch up the entire game to try to tie it up. We saw that with England, with Congo today. They were down 1-0 and, Harry Kane saved the day. So we go in the second half, right? And I feel like it's more the same. We're playing better. We're playing really good. And then let me check to see what time this was. Okay, I think in the 51st minute when Eden Dzeko, apparently, I don't know if he pulled a hamstring or hurt his knee. Doesn't matter. He got pulled out of the game. They brought in some young guys for Bosnia. It's like the whole game changed. They had way more pace, and I feel like they were playing a lot better and putting pressure on us after that happened. That's when the game really started to change. And then the 64th minute, let's go ahead and talk about it, right? The bullshit call. And by the way, I don't like to play this game, but I'm curious if you agree with this. I think the refereeing was atrocious this entire game. I thought there was a lot of missed calls on some. They were very chippy with us. They were pulling our jerseys, pushing us down. No calls whatsoever. Then Ballo accidentally steps on, was it his Achilles? Accidentally just playing through with the ball. I mean, it was one motion. It wasn't like he did it late or anything. Gets the red card sent off in the 64th minute, which I want to talk about that later about what that means. But man, this refereeing was just an absolute shit show in this game.
Yeah, I mean, what I don't get is there were like 5 jersey pulls that were like clearly guys going by, and I can see maybe 1, 2 not being called yellows, but by the third one, it's like clearly they're not even playing, right? We're burning them with our actions, with our moves, and they're grabbing jerseys to stop us. It's like absurd, and to not call those yellows is crazy. And here's the thing, I think especially a lot of like newer fans don't always understand this, but a yellow on a player changes the game for that player, changes how they can play, right? Will, we know that, like changes how aggressive they can play, changes how they can step into a tackle, right? As soon as you have a yellow, you are thinking about stepping into a tackle. You're no longer just going hard, right? Because if you step in the wrong way, now it's a red. So that's the problem, right? Is like if you give a couple yellows out, it actually changes how Bosnia can play. He gave no yellows out, I believe, until what, like
very late in the game,
70th minute. Like he gave a couple there in a row. I think he gave one to the manager, it looked like, and then one. I'm in Greek TV here, so I can't hear or understand what the hell's happening. I'm like, it's like written in Greek too. I'm like, I do not know what's going on. But anyway, so it's a game changer. Not calling those yellows is a game changer, right? It means they can keep playing physical, means they can keep upping the ante until you're going to stop it. And so with the way the game's called, then you have the Ballo tackle, which here's the problem, right? And I've been in like Twitter arguments for the last 30 minutes about this. Like you can't just look at how a foot steps on a foot and to me and judge a red, right? There has to be also intent, violent action, right? And I believe that is kind of like in the law of how a red card is determined, right? Which is like, sure, it was definitely a foul, right? Even if it was incidental, it's a yellow. Fine with that. But if you really look at it, I was watching it at slow motion, is the Bosnian player comes from behind Ballo, right? Goes shoulder to shoulder. Ballo's already kind of in his action going for the ball and stepping for the ball. The guy steps into into Ballo's space. Legally, it's fine, but it's blind. Ballo had no clue he was there. Ballo's foot, if you watch it, Ballo's foot is off the ground. The guy's like initiating contact with him, knocking him off balance. And now he just kind of goes to land. He's not looking at it. He's not trying to. He's not even really trying to stop the guy, right? They're both just kind of going for the ball 50-50. And it ends up looking really ugly, right? Which I think is why he ended up calling the red, is because it looked really ugly. But you can't, to me, you can't go, oh, a guy tore his ACL, right? In basketball, guy tore his ACL, therefore it's, the guy's ejected. It's like, well, what did he do and why did he do it? And what was the
Why did
intent,
it happen?
right?
Yeah.
Correct. Like, so I mean, I thought it was a terrible call. Like, to be honest, if that call was reversed and went against us, I mean, I'd be happy to play against 10, but I would also be like, that's a terrible red. Because it is. That's not what a red card is meant to do in that situation. Messi's, which I've seen a lot of people posting, I think you posted about it.
Let's pull it up right now.
Was far more of a red. Messi had full vision of the guy, was trailing the guy, and like stepped on the back of his calf, like into his Achilles. Like Messi's was far more of a red, and I don't even think he got a card for that, did he?
He got nothing for this challenge.
That's crazy. So like, it's for those of us who've been watching a lot of World Cup, there's like so much inconsistency, right? Between like what we're seeing across the board. And for that, like when it happened, I was like, oh, that won't be a red. That's got to be a yellow. And I was like, I'm going to flip out if that's a red. And he came out and called it a red. So it's really unfortunate. I will say this, right? Let's answer that guy in a second here. But let me make this point first. I think that there is some positive to glean from this red, Will, right? There's some negative, which we're going to talk about, right? And I don't think the positives outweigh the negatives, but the positive is it really tested us, right? For the first time this World Cup, in my opinion. And no, guys, the Turkey game was not a test. We were punting the game. We wanted our guys fresh. I know it's a hot topic on Twitter, right? But like, we were punting the game. Get over it. No big deal. This is our second shutout in a row. And people will be like, Adam, what are you talking about? It's our second shutout in a row. I don't care about that game. With our first 11, this is our second shutout in a row. And we had 30 minutes? What was the time on the red?
Yeah, well, added time, it was like 36 minutes.
So 36 minutes playing a man down, right? Putting us under stress. And you mentally, you have to answer the bell there, Will, right? You have to answer the bell. You have to be tough physically, tough defensively. And not only that, but we actually created chances going the other way, including a goal. We won 1-0. So there's a lot of confidence to glean from that, of being like, hey, we got put under right there. Hey, we had, real deal controversy we had to deal with. And we handled it, right? We handled it really nicely, to be honest with you. Like I was texting, I think my brother's in here watching. I invited him, but I was texting my brother and a couple other guys, who are, kind of newer to the game, like watching, kind of like a lot of us did at one point. And I was like, this is tough, guys. Like, I don't expect us to win, because I didn't. I just really thought Bosnia would pull one back. I thought we'd go to extra time, and then it's just like a disaster at that point. So makes us battle tested, at least, a little bit more.
I want to watch this in slow motion real quick with you, just to see. And I'm sorry if it's super slow motion. I'm not trying to be. I just want to be able to watch this.
Right. So 50-50, shoulder to shoulder. Ball is actually a little in front of him. He gets knocked off balance. His foot goes up when he gets knocked off balance. And then,
try to go for his leg. Like, that's not.
No, on the contrary, I think if you watch it, he gets knocked off balance by the guy. And once you're off balance, it's hard to have intent.
That's true.
Like,
He left armed him right there.
Yeah, he gets knocked off balance, gets knocked off his foot. Look at that right there. His center of gravity is to the left, right? Now he's just kind of like flailing. And I don't think he's not trying to come down on a guy's foot. He's trying to land. Like, I don't even know how you avoid that, Will. I really don't. I don't know if you put me in that spot and I'm fighting for a ball and I get bumped up. Like, how do I avoid?
There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. And plus, it's this because you play basketball. Sometimes it's bang, bang. Like, you can't react. It's so much easier to dissect something in slow motion and watch it 100 times. But when it's happening, it's totally different, man. You don't control it every second, right?
So we had this rule come in. It was like 2015, maybe. We had this rule in college hoops, right? I was a college basketball coach for a long time. So for those who need context, like what's this guy talking about basketball for? So I had this player, Brandon Cunningham, and he was a very athletic kid, right? And he goes up in a game and contact text. They really made the rule. They changed it since. They made the rule if there's any contact, right? Like to a face, anywhere, any contact, doesn't matter how. it's a contact technical, right? So it's a big moment of a game. I think we're like up 1 late game, and Brandon goes up to dunk the ball, and dude, he just gets like hit in his stomach and like flies. The ball flies, and his arm flies and hits this kid in the face. But dude, they called a foul on the kid on the dunk attempt. But because Brandon's hand hit the kid in the face, they also called a contact technical. The team got our free throw. We got to shoot 2 free throws. He was a terrible free throw shooter. He made 1. They got 2 free throws on the ball. They go make 2 free throws, hit a 3. And we go from getting fouled to being down 3, like in the space of 5 seconds, because his arm randomly hit a guy in the head. So it kind of like reminded through my mind back to that moment of my life.
This reminds me too a little bit, not to go too much into basketball, but it reminds me too. Remember the Zaza Pachulia thing on Leonard, where he would stick his foot out and like the guy's ankle came down, and like, they were trying to, I think at one point they would call the foul on Leonard, but that was like they kind of looked at and like, okay, that was a dangerous play by Pachulia. He's the one who enacted that, and actually he's the one causing it.
It kind of reminds me of like, when the shooters like sway their foot really far forward, they shoot and then they bring the foot like way, and then the ref calls it. I'm like, all right, come, like, what are we supposed to do?
Didn't Dirk used to do that?
What was my man's question? Oh, Ballo misses next game. I think somebody asked what's the impact. So Ballo has to miss the Belgium game, which let's talk about that.
Real quick, Bennett says they have to appeal that red card, $1.99 super chat. I appreciate that. Also, guys, smash the like button. We're at 27 likes. Help me and Adam get to 200 likes. Let's do it. Every time me and him do something, we always hit that. So smash the like button, smash the subscribe button if you haven't already, and also share with a friend. Let's see. I can find that comment. Was it this one? How long are you out for a red card? I think that was the question that you were talking about. Yeah.
So let's talk about it, Will, and let's talk about what's the impact, right? Without Ballo, like, what do you think the impact of that is, and what does it mean for us?
Okay. Well, so at the when he got out, right, and we saw Tillman score that beautiful free kick. I just want to mention that real quick. I was happy, but this is where I said I was also sad, mad, frustrated, because I just kept thinking, like, we're going to win this game most likely, even though we were hanging on for dear life for a little bit, but we're going to miss our best striker we've ever produced for the most important game we have ever played, in my opinion. And I was just gutted, man. I'm gutted. Like, I'm very mad, because I know next week when you and I do Monday. Yeah, I guess technically next week when you and I do the post game, if we lose, I'm just going to be thinking, man, what if Ballo was here? Like, that would have changed the entire game. So I'm just really pissed off. And I'm not pissed off because I don't care that he missed the rest of this game. I care that he's missing the next game. That's what I'm really upset with. He's going to miss 100 and what? I'm doing quick math on air here. 126 minutes of gameplay because of that red card now.
Yeah, I see Lee Scott in the comments just wrote Pulisic needs to step up, and I could not agree more, right? Like, it's going to have to, because Ballo's been such an integral part of our attack going back for a while now under Poch. And it's been, my biggest worry is that Pepe has not looked good. Now, he had one really good game in the first friendly, if you guys watched it, where I think he set up some nice interaction and play. So maybe he'll do that. Maybe it's going to be Pepe as kind of a playthrough guy, and we're going to have to get Wes and Pulisic kind of creating the action. But yeah, I mean, we're going to have to, against Belgium, we're going to have outstanding performances from both Pulisic and McKennie, because I just don't know what Pepe is right now in terms of as a goal scorer in a big game. I just haven't even seen him really create a ton of chances in his games recently. I don't know if you'd agree with that, but I mean, there just hasn't been many Pepe moments where you're like, because to me, it's like, I don't even mind if you get in position and you miss the opportunity. Like, great strikers get in the position a lot. They get a lot of opportunity, right? And so that's what you guys are probably noticing about Ballo, is he just is always around the box and hunting shots and like getting opportunity. And that's what great strikers do, is they find space, they find the right run, they hold up on the right run. Like, their instincts, right, are uncanny, and where they are is uncanny. If you watched the England game earlier today, you saw that, right? It's like Harry Kane is inevitably in the right spot 2 times. He knows what to do with the header. He knows what to do with the ball. He plays the ball out into open space and hunts it down for the shot. Like, and Pepe right now just gives me no confidence, I'll be honest with you. He's had some really good runs for us, so hopefully he can kind of find that. But right now, I just don't know what he's going to bring. But we don't need Pepe to score to win the game, well. I'll say that. Like, we don't. Like, Pulisic can be one of the best players on the field. McKinney can be one of the best players on the field. I think Sergiño Dest should be able to create danger. And, who knows where the goal will come from. But if you create, I think what I've loved about our team is we've really created danger in a lot of different places over the last, especially this camp, right? There's been, moments of danger up the middle, down the right, down the left, right? And like pretty fluid. So if we can do that, which I think we're going to be able to do it against Belgium, I'll just be honest, right? And I know people are going to, the talk is going to be about the friendly loss. Guys, I don't care. I don't care about the friendly loss. Miss me with it. Like, miss me with that and miss me with the Turkey loss. Doesn't matter. We lost that. I think it was 1-1 at half, right? Somebody can keep me true here. It was a 1-1 halftime game in that friendly. Both teams played their first teams in the first half. And it was a pretty even game. I actually thought maybe we even had a little bit of the better of it, to be honest with you. So I'm not saying we're going to win or we're the favorites or, we're definitely winning, but we can play with Belgium now. This isn't 2014. This isn't Belgium's, golden generation. This isn't, prime Eden Hazard, it's not. They're still really good, no doubt, right? Definitely not underestimating who they are. But we can play with them, and even if we don't have Ballo, we can score against them. Does it hurt us to not have Ballo? It hurts us a lot, but we can still do it.
So I asked the chat, I asked them if they thought we were in trouble against Belgium without Ballo. So I'm curious to see what they say about that. There's a poll. You guys can let me know there in the comment section if you want to go more into detail. Man, so I think we can beat them. It just sucks, man. It's like you don't ever want to lose a key player in a big game like that. No, it doesn't matter if you can win or not. You just don't want to do it, right? And if we lose, I'm just going to think about it. And the problem is that, to your point, Pepe has been disappointing. He looked okay in like the friendlies. He looked all right. He had a couple build-up plays, 2 good passes, but in the meaningful games he's played, like against Australia, he didn't do shit. He didn't really do anything against Turkey. I think he was very underwhelming. I think the thing with Pepe is he's just so different than Ballo, so different. And when you look at our attackers, when you look at Pulisic on the left side, Dest on the right side, these are like explosive, fast wingers, right? That's what the way they play. Pepe's too slow to really play with those guys to be effective, where Ballo's kind of a bullet himself. Like, I just feel like he plays better with those. He's more suited for them, right, to be effective. So that's what sucks about it. But I do agree with you that this Belgium team is not what they were in 2014. Sure as hell not what they were in 2014. And in that friendly, I'm so sick and tired of people bringing up friendlies of us losing. Our starters played 45 minutes. It's a friendly. It means nothing. It means nothing. Just like losing to Turkey last game means nothing. Like you said, it means zero. Nothing. It has no indication or any implication on how this game is going to go. Zero, zilch, nada. Not happening, right? But here's the thing, Adam. I think that Poach, which I don't want to get too far into the Belgium game because that I need to really digest how we're going to play that. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't start Pepe. I could see him going crazy and doing something else, maybe starting Reina or maybe doing something else, maybe playing Pulisic more up top, which I think might be a mistake. Maybe he doesn't even have a striker. Maybe he just plays like with a false 9. Maybe Pulisic or someone plays as a false 9. I don't know what he's going to do, but maybe Pepe doesn't even play. Maybe he doesn't start in this game. I'm not really sure. But Pulisic is going to have to step up. And I was a little worried in this game, by the way. I don't know if you caught this in the 86th minute. He was kind of holding his leg and he was limping a little bit. Pulisic was. So that kind of worried me a little bit, but he was kind of like, applauding the crowd when he came off. Man, I just,
there was just a comment. I don't know if it was a paid comment before too, but I've seen the question a couple times in the chat. Like, can we appeal? And I love to just chat that. I'll give my take on it. Yeah, there you go. This one before, we never really got to this one, and I saw somebody else in the comments just posted something similar. I'll say this: like, I think you can appeal. You can do whatever you want, but like, will that appeal hold up? It would shock me, right? I mean, somebody else can throw in the comments. Do you guys ever remember a red card being appealed in World Cup play and that being overturned? I don't. Somebody maybe can search it real quick, but I don't remember it being overturned. So yeah, you can appeal. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, you can appeal for sure. But will they overturn it? Are they going to overturn, the VAR? It's a VAR decision, right? It's not even like a ref on the field's decision. That went to the VAR official, right? And that decision was made. It would be pretty crazy. Yeah, it never happened in the World Cup. I don't remember it ever happening in the World Cup. So I would not get your hopes up on an overturned red card.
I would still
the executive order comments.
I would still try. I mean, even if you don't, I mean, you might as well
Yeah,
try,
of course.
right?
Of course you gotta try. Of course. Yeah. Just I wouldn't get our hopes up, right? When you hear USA is appealing tomorrow, I wouldn't be like, yeah, we're gonna get it. Like, yeah.
Well, okay, let me ask you one more thing about this Bosnia game, though, because I'm curious about this, right? So let's completely throw away the Turkey game. Throw it out the window. Doesn't matter. Didn't try, right? So we're comparing Paraguay, Australia, Bosnia, okay? We both agreed Paraguay was the best game we played. That was by far the best game we played in this tournament. Would you say this game was better played than the game against Australia, or do you think it's kind of similar? Same scoreline, but different game, I feel like.
We didn't get to really see the fruits of the labor, which the last 30, 35 minutes in a game like that, if Bosnia has to open up, is when we almost scored with 10, or we did score with 10 men, and we almost scored a couple other times with 10 men. Well, imagine if they were opening up like that and we had 11 and our best players on the field. Like, I think it could have been a game where we end up winning 3 or 4-0 and get some late goals. Like, I really do. I mean, dude, I get it, soccer. I get you're not going to finish everything. But, like, if stuff lands the right way, like, we could have been up 2 or 3 at half, And so, like, if Pulisic is, a foot back and onside and scores that goal, right? And if Ballo scores his first goal and he's 2 inches back, you have a whole different opinion of the game is my take, right? Like, you're like, oh my God, we won 4-0. Like, this is crazy. So soccer's a weird sport, right? Like, a couple small things, like a foot here, a foot there, makes you go from that's the best game we've ever played to that was a good game. So, I'll go on the conservative side. I think it was a solid game. I think it was worse than the Paraguay game for sure. It was definitely better than Australia, in my opinion. I thought we created more opportunity. I thought we created more real opportunity. And honestly, I thought even late Australia was more dangerous than Bosnia, and we had 11 guys on the field bunkering, right? I think this game we had 10 on the field bunkering, and we really didn't give up a ton of dangerous opportunities. So it was good. It was a good game. Like, I thought to your point, from the 30th minute on, I thought we played really nicely. Saw somebody in the comment talking about Tillman versus Reyna. I'm flexing on Tillman versus Reyna. Tillman, I've loved Tillman for years. He didn't perform for the United States for a long time, right? And I had to eat crow on. I had to eat crow on that because I had to eat it on that because I was a big Tillman guy, and he was not performing. And I had to be honest. I was like, dude's not performing, man. But I never lost faith. I was like, keep giving him chances. And now what Tillman did that Reyna didn't, and that a lot of other guys didn't, is he showed up to camps to prove himself, right? And he gained a lot of trust by doing that. And he played, he was Gold Cup last year, right? Wasn't that when he was there?
That was a breakout. Yeah.
Right. Musa didn't show up. Gio didn't show up. Like, it is what it is. And he broke out and proved he belonged. He gained a lot of, and I remember, I think you and I were talking, like, during that, we were like, could this be what ignites this dude with the national team? And a year later, yes. The answer is yes. That's what ignited him, right? He gained a lot of confidence through that. The coach's trust, teammates' trust. And he just is like played more like himself. We've seen him playing like this for club for years. For those of you who don't necessarily watch Euro club ball, he's been playing like this for years. And so to see him bring it to the national team is so exciting. Is he better than Gio? Certainly he's better than Gio right now. I mean, I don't think there's any ifs, ands, or buts about that. I do think Gio, if given the right opportunity, could show magic, though. His role is to be an off the bench guy. So that's what we're going to see out of Gio this camp. And I'll say this: I'm not sure we're done hearing from Gio Reyna late in games. We'll see, but I think he can be a total game changer for us late in games. But dude, Tillman, that back heel pass that Tillman had, I don't know if you
that was
remember.
nasty to McKinney. Yeah, I remember. Trust me, I remember that back heel pass.
My God,
it was beautiful.
I mean, that was just filthy. Like, and that's where somebody's flowing, right? And then he just steps up and he's like, "Give me the rock on that free kick. Give me the rock." Does nothing fancy with it, right? Right over the wall, an absolutely perfect free kick. and honestly a big moment. Like if you don't get that goal, that last whatever 10 minutes, however, I couldn't see the time. There was no time on my screen. The last, what was it? When did he score that? In the 80th,
80, 83rd, 84th minute, something like that.
83rd. Okay. So that last 15, 20 minutes is way different if you don't score that goal. So I was running around this house trying to not wake my family up at 3 a.m.
From Greece, by the way, guys. He only got like 3 hours of sleep to watch the game. That's a dedicated fan. Love it. Adam, another thing, man, that I love about this team is I think when you talk about a winning team, the most important thing is just showing you can win in different ways. I've mentioned this before, but it is like the first game, beat down, right? Attacking frenzy against Paraguay, win 4-1. Second game against Australia, little different. Own goal, able to score, get that 2-0 win without Pulisic, able to find. We went with the two strikers set up with Balogun and Pepe, able to win. Turkey, whatever the hell, maybe could have got a point there. Doesn't matter anyway with the backups. This game, they were playing a low block super bunker ball. Some people call it terrace ball. Bosnia was
harem
ball, right? They were playing like that most of the game, and we started to break through. Ballo gets a red card in the 64th minute. So going down to 10 men and then still able to win 2-0, scoring our 10th goal of the tournament. This team is just battle tested. They're showing they can win in so many different ways. And I feel like that is so important, man. You cannot be one dimensional if you want to go on a run. And I feel like the United States are just proving that they can do it in different ways. Pochettino is just working magic. And I cannot believe we scored 10 goals in 4 matches, man. That's incredible. We're averaging over 2 goals per game. Balogun is now tied for the most goals ever scored a World Cup for United States player with 3. Probably could have had 4, honestly. If that, what was I think Dest had the header down. It was like an awkward header down, and Ballo hit the post.
That's what I'm talking about. That I actually couldn't believe he didn't finish that. Yeah.
So that was a chance he could have had too. But the team is just like this is another performance outside of Dest, who we said was kind of ghost, that I can't say that a single person in the starting 11 played bad. I feel like everybody played pretty good, or at least decent for the most part. And I don't ever remember, as long as I've been talking to you or as long as I've been watching, where I can say we've had so many performances with our main starting 11 where they're just consistently putting in the work and playing well, man. This is why I think that this team is just different.
Yes. This 11 right now is flowing. I think I saw somebody in the comments, made a great point, which is like Poch does not trust the bench. He didn't sub till the 83rd. And I agree. I thought we needed subs earlier, to be honest, but clearly after last game, which rightfully so, I mean, those guys put in an absolute terrible performance in the first half, right? Which is most of the sub options that you'd have to come in this game. And like, none of those guys look great. But we're going to need the bench, man. Like I'm a little bit worried about that. You're not going to be able to play 11 guys versus Belgium on 5 days rest or whatever it is at this point. Like somebody's going to have to step up off that bench. So the starting 11 agreed. Like we're flying right now. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, right? Now we have not yet really played, especially in a competitive match. We haven't played anybody with like real serious talent, right? We just haven't. Like that's just a fact. Bosnia is not considered a talented team on the world stage. Australia is not. Paraguay also is not, right? Paraguay is a good team and they've found a way to get results this cycle, but they're not like an overly talented team. So now all of a sudden Turkey is, but we kind of punted the game and didn't play our best 11. So the question now becomes, Will, and it's a really interesting question. What does this 11 look like in a winner-go-home game against a Belgium team that, while they're not, your older brother's Belgium, they're still really freaking good, man. They still have a lot of talent around the field, and they've underperformed. They've underperformed this World Cup, even if you guys haven't followed them. They've severely underperformed this World Cup, including today. I didn't see the game, but I woke up and saw the highlights. But if they're down 2-0 to that Senegal team, that's underperforming, right? It seemed like it took – you guys probably watched the game. It was the middle of the night for me. I was trying to get some sleep to rest up for this game. But it looked like they were they were down 2-0 into like the 80 something minute.
They scored
two.
Yeah, I think Belgium scored 86th, 89th minute, and then scored an extra time with a penalty in like the 120th minute. Plus, they got a penalty to win.
Did Zombie Lukaku come off the bench again?
I can't remember if he did, but he scored in the 85th minute. It's like his
Or
first
did he
goal.
start? He's the Zombie Lukaku coming off the bench. Oh no, yeah. Zombie Lukaku came off the bench. What minute did he sub in? Oh, second half. Looks like he came in the second half. Nice. A lot of you guys are like, "What's wrong with this guy, dude?" I was sleeping. All right, so God, I gotta watch that game. That game looks sick, though.
It was a crazy finish.
But I mean, you've got like, let's just go. If you go through their personnel, right? I'm sure you'll do a more in-depth, preview here. But Doku on the left wing. If those of you who watched the friendly remember, the dude was just. I mean, it was scary, right? We have to have a plan on the left side, or I guess our right side of our defense, to cover for him, right? I love the way Freeman's playing, though, and I'm glad that he's not on the right side, to be honest. Like, if he was on the right side, I'd even be a little bit more scared. But, it's going to have to be a combination of Freeman, Dest, even Adams pinching over there, right, to help, because he's so dynamic. Like, he's the kind of player who we just have not played yet. I don't know if you guys would agree with that, but, like, just haven't played anybody like him. And it's going to be a different speed, right? It's going to be like, a totally different ball game. And then De Bruyne, while he's old, obviously he's KDB, man. Like he's that guy. And then it looks like Tielemans had 2 goals today. He's a really good player. And then their defense, is really sound. And Courtois maybe is the best goalie in the world. So, and they bring in Lukaku off the bench. And I mean, at this point, Lukaku's got to be in the Golden Boot race, right? I mean, does he have 4? He's got a lot. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe he only has 3. He's got a lot. Every time I look up, though, he's scoring a goal late in the game. So
he's got 2 goals so far in the tournament.
Only 2? Okay, man. Yeah. Feels like 5. Maybe it's just because I've seen the meme. I don't know if you've seen the meme of like the giant Lukaku. Have you seen that? If not, you gotta find it. It's like the giant Lukaku running down the field, breaking the goal because he's so big now.
Let me ask you this too. I agree with you that we haven't played anybody of that quality, but one thing, and I know people hate when you do like matchups versus matchups, but to be fair, we beat down Paraguay and they just, you could say luck, whatever. They did beat Germany, which is a team definitely better, I would say, than Paraguay. And maybe some were saying better than us. And they were able to beat them. I know it was on penalties, but they were able to compete and do this. I think us playing at Seattle also, now missing Balo is going to suck, but I just feel like this team is just revved up and ready to go. I don't care who they're playing. I just think the disparity is not that large. Now, when we get to the semifinal or the quarterfinals, that's a whole different ball game. I think we're going to play. If we win, we'd play. Is it Argentina? No, it's Spain. Spain, I think, would be the team in the quarterfinal. That's a whole different ball game. But this Belgium team doesn't scare me. Like you said, they don't have prime Eden Hazard. They don't have prime Kevin De Bruyne. They don't have prime. Oh God, I remember Vincent Kompany was their star center back when they played in 2014. Sure. Great, obviously at Manchester City. Courtois, Lukaku, Benteke. They had all these guys. They don't have those guys anymore like that in their prime. So I'm not afraid of them, and I think this is the revenge tour. I think we're coming out for absolute revenge for the 2014 game and the most recent game. So they don't really scare me. But the position we're in is what scares me with not having one of our best players. And we're going to have some really, really good games if we want to win. So now you said we haven't facing one like Doku in the World Cup so far. The closest guy that I could think of, and when I say this, I'm not saying he's as good. He's not. I'm talking about the pace and obviously, showing some speed with Aaron Kunda for the Australia. In the second half, he came on. But Doku is just way more technically sound, so he's a way better on the ball. But we haven't really faced any pace demons like him in the tournament so far. Okay, let me ask you this. Okay, as far as the Bosnia game, what was your score? I don't think I even asked you. What did you think the score prediction was going to be for this match before it happened?
3-0.
3-0 us? Prediction. Okay. Well, it probably would have been if Balo had.
I thought we were on pace, man. I was like, oh, this is great. I'm going to be exactly right. Yeah, and I'll be honest, and I'm not trying to like troll or there's so much like Twitter stuff where we're just getting fed Euro stuff and they're getting fed our stuff, and it's like everybody hates each other, and it's like, oh, they doubt it. Listen, like you can't analyze those two teams. I'm sorry, you can't. Like, just if we're gonna put our analysis hat on, Will, right? Not our fan hat on. there's just no way to analyze those two teams and not say we're drastically better, right? Now we've said multiple times. I think when we were on with Derek last week, like we said, like, can you lose? Yes, for sure. You could definitely lose, right? We see it all the time, but we're going to outperform them, is what we said, and that's what we saw today. We outperformed them, even with 10 men. We were outperforming them. We were creating, better chances over the whole of the game. So, yeah, I think it would have been 3-0, honestly, if not for the red card. Two straight shutouts, man, and we got to give a lot of credit to the defense, because the types of chances that we're giving up right now are like hopeful shots, which, can drop, but we have not for two straight games now, once again, not counting the Turkey game, everyone, for two straight games, our starting back line is just not making errors, right? Knock on wood, but like they've been really sound, really solid. And this is also what happens when you're in a camp for 4 or 5 weeks together, right? Is you actually have like enough time to train, watch film, and really start to implement tactics that a good manager wants to put in. And Poch is a good manager, right? And so what we're seeing now is like the growth of the defense, right? We talked about early in the tournament being like, wow, the offense has like exploded and come along. And I think what we're seeing now is the defense. Now, this will be the real test, man. Like, this is it. Like, you're going to face real attackers, right? With real ability now. Can you go stop that team? And can you make life really tough? Because let's not overrate Belgium here, guys. They had a 0-0 draw in their group stage game against Iran, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think 0-0 against Iran, and I think 1-1 against Egypt, right? We're, once again, somebody out there is going to freak out. We're better than both those teams. We just are. We have a better roster than both those teams on the whole. We've been performing better than both those teams recently. So once again, like, if you want hope or you want like to really know the deal, it's like they had a 0-0 and a 1-1, guys, against two pretty weak teams, teams that aren't like class for the World Cup. So, and then they 5-2 New Zealand, I think, right?
5-1,
New Zealand,
yeah.
5-1, yeah, and New Zealand's one of the worst teams in the World Cup. So,
yeah,
this isn't like I saw somebody posted, this isn't an unbeatable team. Couldn't agree more. Not an unbeatable team, but really good, right? And to me, they are the favorites in this game because of experience, because I think the talent, they probably do have a bit more talent, in my opinion. But this is a game we should be able to play in. We shouldn't have to bunker in this game. We should be able to go play with these guys. And now what's good for us is what we've developed is the ability to carve defenses open that leave space. We really have developed that. And so I'm excited to see, like, in a pressure game, in a monster game, can we come and bring the type of play that we brought against Paraguay? Can we bring that type of offense against these guys? And that's going to be fun to see.
Well, I want to point this out too, right? Now, we played Belgium in March and we lost to them in Portugal. Obviously, that was months ago. And I think we had some key players out, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think there's a couple guys maybe out. And that was just like a camp, right? The second to last camp for the World Cup. But we beat the Senegal team recently, the tune-up games for the World Cup. We beat them. And they gave Belgium a run for their money tonight. And we beat this. We beat the Senegal. If people want to use friendlies as an indicator of how good a team is, then we just beat this Senegal team. We just literally beat them less than a month ago, leading up to this, and they gave Belgium a run for their money. So I'm not worried about it. It does suck, man. I wish we would have got Egypt. I mean, if it wasn't for that absolute goal palooza by Belgium and Egypt kind of shitting the bed against Iran, we would have played Egypt instead of Belgium. I'll be honest with you. I'm not really mad about it because, Adam, eventually we're going to have to find out, are we real or are we not? We're going to have to play good teams if we want to. You're going to have to beat good
Correct.
teams if you want to go anywhere. So I'm not mad about it because this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen.
Listen, the next round will be Spain or Portugal. I bet a lot of money on it. And I totally agree. I think like being tested, and that's why the red might end up being a blessing in disguise, right? Which is like, you want to be battle tested, right? You want to have some scars and some wounds, right? Going into a battle. You don't want to be green in a battle, right? You don't want to send a bunch of dudes who have never been to war out to fight a battle. Like, you want dudes who have been through a little bit. And let's just be real, Will. Like, we haven't been through that much, right? Like, some Nations League struggle last year. The last World Cup feels a long time, like it's a long time ago. But like, what has this group really been through together, right? And I like, as you go through those moments together, that's where you really start to build a lot of unity and solidity. And like, that's where you you level up, right? And so playing Belgium and beating Belgium would be leveling up in a way that could build our confidence so much more than beating an Egypt going into like a game like a Spain or something. So if the long-term ambition is, hey, can we get to a semi and then figure out what happens? Can we get to the quarters and try and, win a game and get to the semi? Like if that's really the ambition, which I'm not putting the cart before the horse, like that is still banana lands to me. I have predicted it. I've predicted semis, by the way, just on this channel. So go ahead in the comments, flame me, but I have predicted semis. Just make sure you reward me when we make the semis. But to get there, you've got to level up, right? And so this is it, man. This is the next level. And like, let's go get this game. It's going to be this will be a battle though. This will be like, if you win this game, I wouldn't be shocked if it goes to PKs. I wouldn't be shocked if it's like a 1-1. I'll put a little bit more time into watching this last Belgium game and come up with what my prediction is going to be. But like, that's kind of off the dome, right? I'm thinking like a 1-1, right? Maybe a 2-1 if you can go get 2 goals, but it feels like a game that's going to go to extra time. And maybe you get that goal. Maybe it goes to PKs. But whichever way it goes, we're going to be battle tested, and if we can slide through and get through to the next round, we're going to be better for it.
I'll say this. This team, like I mentioned earlier, have won games in different ways, and this is just going to be another way. I'm telling you right now, if they beat Belgium without Balogun, they will have literally almost completed the gauntlet of just winning in different ways, right? I mean, that would be a game without Pulisic, a game without Balogun, a game with 10 men. Like, there's just so many different ways this team would have won, and that's what gives me confidence as this thing continues to go. I don't know, man. I feel like the positivity's in the air. You were like way more optimistic before this than I was, and you kind of rubbed off on me. I think you indoctrinated me into believing more. I mean, I'm a believer. I've said this for like a couple weeks. I think we're the dark horse, and I think we're going to continue that. And by the way, just real quick, I want to look up like Bosnia. I know they got smoked by someone in their group. Was it Switzerland? I think maybe beat them really bad. Like, was it 4-1? I could be wrong about that. Yeah, 4-1, but they had a red card in the 80th minute, and then they scored 3 goals after that red card. Switzerland did. So that's probably why that was kind of got out of hand. But Bosnia, what was the score line with them in Canada? Was it 1-1? So they drew with Canada. They beat Qatar. And the only reason they lost to Switzerland is because, like I said, red card and the wheels fell off. So we're the only team to beat Bosnia this bad with 11. And they had 11 men. We had 10 men. So that I think this is a very impressive win for a different reason. And, dude, we just won our first knockout game since 2002. Like, that needs to be talked about more. 24 years, man. You were a young lad last time we did that. Probably a high school lad.
I was a high school senior watching that game, yeah.
Yeah, man. It was a little bit ago, right? A little bit ago.
A little bit ago.
You have any closing thoughts? Anything else you want to say before we wrap it up?
Dude, that was fun. Like, what's funny is like I think my emotions are going to start to kick in for the Belgium game. And I'll just be honest with everyone. This is just where my brain's been. Like, this round of 32, to me, I've still been viewing it as an extended group stage. And I just haven't wrapped my brain around what this 48-team World Cup is yet, But I'm trying to like still relate it to the old. And so for me, it's like almost like, you have your group stage and you have like a play-in game to get to what I consider to be the old knockouts. So to me, like it'll count as a knockout win for sure. But to me, the excitement is really going to begin. And that's why I was kind of flaming Mexico fans for like celebrating their curse being broken when I'm like, like a million of you out in Mexico City, like more power to you, have a blast, party it up. But like your curse isn't broken, bro. You've made it to the round of 16, like 1,000 straight times. Like the curse is the next round for Mexico. So, and it's the same thing for us. I'm like, with this group, like, I think the reason I'm not flying off the wall is like, one, I expected to be in the round of 16. Like, if we weren't, that would have been a massive letdown. We've been there 6 out of 9 times. I don't know if you saw the tweet I put out the other day, but there are only 7 countries who have more consistently been in the knockout round since 1994 than us.
You said
right?
7 countries?
7 countries have been there more. We are tied with France. France has been to 6 out of 9. We've been to 6 out of 9. Now it's 7 out of 10. So I'm talking about before this knockout round. So, sorry, I'm counting this knockout round. It's 6 of 9. So that's pretty crazy. Like, We should, but knockouts used to be the round of 16. So like we should be in the knockouts. Like that's where we belong, man. Like, and we should be in the round of 16. That's where this country belongs. So I'm excited. I'm happy, got the job done. It's like a Kobe situation, like job finished, job not finished, right? That's your guy. Job finished, job not finished, right? Like job isn't done. Like now to me, the real task begins. Now, if you want to see somebody who's going to be jacked up, check out this live stream next week after the Belgium game. If we get that dub, you're going to see somebody jacked up because that is a moment. And Mexico fans out there, I hope that's your moment too, right? I actually think it's going to be. I think they're going to get England at home, man. I really do.
I think so too.
The way they're playing, the way England's playing, and the Azteca and the fan, it's going to be. I don't think England knows what they're in for, man. Like they're not built for CONCACAF ball. We really get to see some teams go play CONCACAF ball this World Cup.
I think they're in trouble. I think CONCACAF is up pretty big. The three teams, host nations, have all advanced to the round of 16, which is beautiful to see. My final thoughts are that we've done what we're supposed to do so far. We need to beat Belgium. I think quarterfinals was the bare minimum we had to have in order to be considered this a success. Now, I want us to I still want us to go to win a quarterfinal game, make it to semifinals. Hell, I want us to win it all, but I think we have to win this game on Monday for this to be considered success. We've done this 6 out of 9 times, to your point. It's time to do something else. It's time to go back to the quarterfinals for the first time since 2002 and prove that this thing is on the right trajectory of becoming a huge soccer nation, not just because of fandom, but because of producing talents. So that's what I want to see. And if we beat Belgium, especially without Balogun, all bets are off with me and you, man. Shit could get wild. I don't even want to talk about what could happen. I mean, it's going to be, who the hell knows, man. Yeah, God, you're not
put my brain fully there yet. I can analyze and think about it, but I cannot put my emotions and brain into that yet because this is it. Like this is where we've been my whole life. Will we've been here? I got into this really hardcore in 02. I watched 94 and 98, but hardcore in 02, and we got there. And my 18-year-old self was like, oh, we're going to be back to the quarters and semis. Like, you're ignorant when you're 18. You're like, we'll definitely be in the quarters and semis. And obviously in the 24 years since, it's been like, oh, that's rare. Like, oh, yeah, that is not. Let me add one last piece of context. This game coming up, what's our exact day for the game? Monday?
Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Monday, 9 p.m. So I'll be back from my flight. My flight back from Greece is that day. So I'll be back for that game in state time, which I'm excited about. This game will define this generation, right? Pulisic, Adams, McKinney, Jedi, Ream. Richards is still young, but like Dest, that group, this will be the definition for them of their legacy, right? Are they going to win this game and bring, because there'll be a lot of juice. If they win this game, the juice will start to pick up, right? And that'll set them up to really have the career defining stuff, after it. But this is a legacy defining game. If they lose this game, it's like what was that group? They made the round. It was nice. It was a nice group. They made the round of 16 twice. They've done what's been done before. We're not going to like hate them or anything, but where they define their legacy is Monday, man. And so that's just a cool thing. Like, let's go watch without Ballo. It's like, all right, Wes. All right, Christian. All right, Serge. What do you guys got, man? Like, this is you. Like, Ballo's not going to be there to bail you out, man. Like, what do you guys got?
This is why they hired Pochettino. This is what the home World Cup was supposed to be. All the guys that we talked about in 2022 were younger. Now they're more mature. They're in their prime. That's what this game's about. Proving that they can have it all culminate and get further or to a point where past teams could not get. I'm excited to see what happens. United States beat Bosnia 2-0. Everyone celebrate this. Now, obviously, the Ballo thing sucks, but listen, we got to move on. We got to beat Belgium. No excuses. You got to do what you got to do. I appreciate my friend Adam Turner joining us, as always, on these post-game recaps for the game. Make sure you guys go follow him at StanUSMNT on X. He's always willing to debate and discuss USMNT and anything. Honestly, he's pretty open about anything, even if you're wrong. So make sure you guys go follow him. Also, hit the like button on the way out, guys. Let's try to get to 200 likes. We're almost 100. And hit the subscribe button if you guys haven't already, if you enjoyed this episode. Until next time, guys, USMNT moves out.